Today, I want to take you on a very important journey, and that is the one to find your ancestor lineage, and why finding your ancestor lineage and working with your ancestor is so important, especially when you want to manifest your divine life track, higher life track, heart and mind coordination, or even divine match and divine purpose. I'm going to talk about how to find your ancestor lineage, my experience, as well as the top 5 reasons why I think working with your ancestors is extremely powerful and important as well for your well-being as well as for manifestation. If you guys are interested, obviously this video is not for saying that you cannot manifest certain things. I already made hundreds of videos where I cover that yes, you can manifest whatever it is that you want. You can use whatever technique that you want. This video is just to spark your interest in finding out something more about yourself and working with the energies around us. So again, if you're interested, just keep on watching. Hello, my name is Naya, for those of you guys who don't know me, and on this channel I talk everything about manifestation, esotericism, so much more. I have a Patreon community since I don't have social media, where I share tons of vlogs, podcasts, and 100 videos about these topics once a week. You are invited to join the community anytime, and the link is down below. So now let's get started. First and foremost, how do we even start finding our ancestor lineage? For some of you guys already know, I wasn't really that sure who my ancestors were because of the melting pot, not melting pot, but like the contradictions or weird things. I don't, maybe they're not weird, that I saw in my family. Like, I'm Italian, 100% Italian. I was born and raised in Italy, but I studied history and philosophy at university, and I know that Italians as genetics are very mixed with other cultures. There is like, yes, there is the genetic of Italians or even ancient Roman, but many people assume their Italians are all related to ancient Romans, and that can be no further from the truth. So I just went on a journey to find more about my ancestors, because I know from even the study of esotericism and witchcraft that working with your ancestors can be extremely powerful when manifesting. And in fact, it was for me, especially reconnecting what I found out with what happened to me when I was manifesting my divine match and higher life track. It blew my mind because everything was so connected. So how are you gonna find it? You can start with your family. So see and ask your family about genealogy or your lineage. For instance, my mom comes from Sardinia. However, she doesn't look like the typical Sardinian woman at all. She actually looks Scandinavian or Northern European. She's extremely tall, super fair skin, naturally super blonde with green eyes. My grandmother from her side has red hair, and one of my cousins is absolutely redhead. And I always ask my mom, like, why don't you even look like you're Sardinian? And she told me because her mom, it's not from Sardinia, but was from somewhere from the northern of Italy, and so probably that got mixed up, and in the family there were a lot of redheads, which for me was like, okay, this is interesting. Then my dad comes from Marche, which is another region in Italy, and his mom is blonde as well, and my dad has this pierced yellow eyes. He doesn't really look Mediterranean, or yeah, he looks Italian, I guess, but not that much. And so that was really interesting as well. I was born with copperish auburn hair naturally. If I have some picture, I will insert them. This is my natural color. I don't know if you can see them. And I remember that a professor in a school told us that Italians that naturally have red pigmentation or even blonde pigmentation is because they are genetically a mix between either German, Scandinavian for some instances, the northern part of Europe, as well as the Celts. And I was like, that's very interesting, but I kind of tossed it away. I was never that interested. Like, you know, it was just one of those things. So first thing that you have to do is obviously see a little bit of your family lineage, where you come from and where your family comes from. The second thing that you can possibly do for understanding better your ancestral lineage is to obviously look at the genetics. Now, genetics could be taking a DNA test, and after you take a DNA test, which obviously should always be taken with a pinch of salt, but it's just for entertainment purposes and to connect more with your lineage. After that is done, you can also take a genome test that studies the chromosome, because DNA test only goes up to 500 years ago, but with the genome and the chromosome, even two brothers coming from the same mother and the same father can actually share different chromosomes that connect them to slightly different ancestral patterns. And genome study, chromosome study, can go further back, if I'm correct, to 5,000 years ago, and so can tell you a lot more, and it can be more specific about your ancestral lineage. And then obviously go to the library, take some history books after you have this sort of results, and discover yourself what you feel more connected to. Is always good to go to historical sources and not just taking information from Netflix or from shallow documentaries, but just take the books and really take your time to study your lineage, esoterically speaking and also historically speaking. And then last tips that you can use, and I definitely utilize, is psychics, because many people in the esoteric realm support the fact that our ancestors are nothing but our past selves or past lives kind of experiences. I'm not sure 100%, but that could be true. It's definitely interesting. And it's funny because I know how to do past life readings. I did them for myself many times, and a specific card always came out where point out geographical places that I was connected to, and for me it never made sense. Like, it always told me about the sea, voyages through ships and the Celtic lands or things like that. And I remember, like I said in my past videos, that I was interested when I was a child into the runes, staying in the forest, and certain mythology and paganism, especially when I was a child. But I never, like, when I saw that past life readings, I didn't make a lot of it because I'm very skeptical. And when I got my DNA and genome test, I was like shocked at the results. So that helped me out. And so let me finish my story, and then I tell you one of the top reasons why this is important for your manifestation, or let's just kind of do it together. So one of the first top reason why it's important to find out or working with your ancestral lineage to manifest your higher purpose is for guidance. Because honestly, when it comes down to heart and mind coordination, this is about getting into the void state. I talked even on my webinar. If you participated on my webinar about manifesting your dreams, comment down below, because I talked a lot about this heart and mind coordination and the void state. I even have a meditation on how to enter the void state on my Patreon. It's nothing difficult or fancy. It's the I am presence that Neville Goddard used to talk about. So when you connect with that void state, you can enter the alternative space, the quantum field, and you can really see tons of possible pathways that you can take, you can choose, and you can manifest from. It can be even infinite as a number. And obviously, if you want to try to align with your soul, with the reason why you came here on earth, that doesn't mean that you have necessarily a destiny written already for you, but you can manifest your highest, best life that your soul wants for you. And that is very connected to who you were in the past lives, your ancestral lineage. And this type of connection, obviously, when you connect with spirit guides, with this energy, you can get better guidance about the decision that you are making in the present moment while you're manifesting. So for example, you should relocate to this place or not. You should take this job or this other job, and both are amazing, and you are not sure which one to take. It's like a sliding door kind of moment. You can tap into your ancestors in this energy to get guidance, and it works, is extremely powerful, and it just gives you access to what, in my opinion, is even more who you are. There is another reason why this is very important, not only because our ancestors are connected to our genes, so they live inside of us still. They are the byproduct of who we are. And we know from the 7 Hermetic principle, as above, so below, as within, so without. Who we are on the inside is what we project on the outside. So they are helping us out. They're living through us. We are the byproduct of them. And so their guidance can be extremely helpful, in my opinion. And also, there could be another hypothetical scientific reason. Now, obviously, mainstream science, when it comes down to ancestor lineage, talks about genetics and epigenetics, but there is Rupert Sheldrake that has talked about a field that is called the morphic field of resonance. He even wrote a book about it. And what is the morphic field of resonance? I've made a video that is entitled Why We're Telepathic, where I explain more about the morphic field of resonance. Obviously, this is a debate in the scientific community, and it's just an hypothesis, especially to link it to ancestral lineage. But you know, it's very interesting to see the parallel, because the morphic field of resonance is a non-material, not visible, we could say, on the naked eye, field of information that creates a resonance among the same species. So I'm going to read you the definition from Rupert Sheldrake. Morphic fields are non-material energetic fields that influence from structure and behaviors living system. These fields are thought to contain information that guides the development or behavior of organism, and they connect individuals of same species across space and time. What does it mean, resonance? It's the vibrational harmony between individuals that have a particular morphic field of resonance in common. And so obviously, talking about ancestors and genetic lineage, we could have resonance with certain fields that are genetically related to us. So stronger fields of resonance could be created by, obviously, ancestral lineage. So with that being said, we don't just inherit things from our ancestors through genetics or DNA, but we also inherit them. We inherit them through these non-physical fields, and we could inherit things such as a talent, music, like music, or painting, something that our ancestors have developed strongly or have mastered, could be passed into us, or even behavioral pattern, instinct, knowledge of all kind, and collective memories that can shape our identity and predispositions. So by knowing all of this, you can understand that if you connect with your ancestral lineage, whether it's just genetically speaking or for the morphic field, that can give you access to tons of information and guidance to make the best possible decision when it comes down to manifesting heart and mind coordination and manifesting alignment to your divine match, your divine, possible life track. And why my example? Because this is a lot of talk, and this video is already super long, and I only covered one first point, but I'm super passionate about the subject, so just keep on watching till the end. I promise you won't regret it. So my experience was this. I always used affirmation and visualization, and especially last year, I was connecting a lot with manifesting my divine match. You guys, if you know my channel, you already know my stories. I shared it in one of my videos. I was doing the Florence Scovel affirmation for manifesting my divine marriage and my divine match, as well as my divine purpose or highest life track. And last year, I think, was the peak of manifestation, where my channel blew up. I had so much abundance, so many travels that connected me to what I really wanted. I lost and gained new friends, and past friends came back, and it was just amazing. And then I became pregnant. I found, obviously, who I consider my divine match. He asked me to marry. It was just beautiful year full of great manifestation, and I feel now that I manifested everything that I want, as I'm in my 9th month of pregnancy, and super soon my daughter is gonna be born, so I'm super excited. But I remember where it started. Yes, it started with the affirmation and all the techniques that I shared with you guys, but then I was always like, all my life, I was drawn back to England, and I didn't really understand why. Like, for example, with my music, when my music blowed up in the metal scene, it blowed up in England. And that's where I used to do concerts a lot. My manager was British. I was always there for a reason or another. And before I met Johan, my fiance, I remember with my best friend, I decided to go to Stonehenge, and I was just shocked at how connected I felt in that moment. It's a beautiful place. I highly suggest you to visit. And I said to my best friend that was with me, I said to her, from now on, I feel this is meant to be. We were supposed to be here, and everything is going to change. I didn't just said my manifestation are gonna come. It's like, everything is going to change now. And 3 days later, I actually met Johan, and then the rest is history. Like, my life drastically changed, and I'm going back and forth always from Italy to England. It's been all my life, and I just couldn't understand why. And that's what led me to the ancestor lineage discovery and connection. So I decided to take a DNA test, and I found out that, yeah, mainly I am Italian with southern, obviously Italian blood, but then there was some percentage from England, and then I found out Italian history, and the Italians are connected to the Celts, depending on where we are. And actually, the region where I'm born is where the Celts were settled for the most part in ancient times. In fact, there is a city in Marche that is called Senigallia, and Gallia or Galli is the Italian name for the Celts of the time. So I took a chromosome genes, and shockingly, I found out that yes, I'm related to southern Italy, obviously, from my mom into the Mediterranean Sea, but as well I have high percentage of Irish and British genes, and even 12% Scandinavian, or like from the Northern Europe, apparently related to the Vikings, which was like, it's a very low percentage, but it was like, it blew my mind. And it just made so much sense with me doing the affirmation to manifest my divine match, doing the affirmation to manifest my divine life track, and where I ended up. I met Johan in England. I always was drawn back to England, and I'm probably gonna go and live there because we're gonna settle in there for a while. And it was just so interesting. Some people that I've met during last year that I was manifesting out my higher life track actually had the same genetics as me. They're related to the Celts, to Britain, to Ireland, Welsh, and all of this. It blew me away. And that's why I discovered even more. And it's so funny because Johan took the same test, and he had high percentage of Scandinavian DNA. Like, it was 67%, something like super high. He's obviously from the northern eastern part of Europe. And it's so funny because studying the history, that's where, well, the Celts are before the Vikings, but that's where those two civilizations kind of joined together. The Scandinavian with the British, they joined together in history. We see settlements and so much more. I mean, this is gonna be a very long video, but it's just to show you that for me, it's so interesting that he has these ancestors and this lineage. I have my own, and where we met in England. It's just blows me away, and it blows me away how I was just affirming for my divine match and my divine higher life track. In England is where I started working with a friend of mine at a shop that is an esoteric shop, and that was a dream of mine to work in an esoteric shop. Is just so, everything is so connected. And this friend of mine that has an esoteric shop, she's southern Italian, she's Sardinian, just like me. It's so connected. So top reason number one, also through my experience, when you connect and you work with your ancestors, you're working with who you are. They can guide you to make certain choices, and they can guide you to manifest your higher life track that is in alignment with your soul. Second reason why it is so important to work with your ancestors is because, again, they live through you. They exist within you. They are the byproduct of who you are. They're very very much alive as other energies are alive around you. And they, you know, you could have trauma, curses, or certain things that you need to work through that might come either through the morphe field or genetically from your ancestors. And so breaking those curses, breaking those patterns within you can actually produce point number 3, which is ancestor blessings. So it's point number 2 and number 3, I think they are connected together. When you work with your ancestral lineage, not only you can heal a lineage and create a better future for yourself and for others, you can manifest higher life tracks and accomplish things that your ancestors didn't before. But at the same time, the results of this is their blessings energetically, their support, because our ancestors, they really function as our guidance and our spirit guides, as I said before. So when you're trying to manifest your divine match or divine or higher life track, having their blessings can speed up their manifestation and can make you feel more rooted in yourself and much more in alignment. And so number 4 top reason is obviously ancestor connection. When you find this connection with your ancestors, you understand more yourself, your talents, why you always like to certain things, why perhaps you don't find resonance with your own country, or you're interested, you don't find resonance with a certain religion, and maybe you wanted to discover different parts of yourself. And all of this inner discovery can obviously help you out manifest and taking certain decisions when you are manifesting love, manifesting a career, or manifesting your higher life in general. So I think that inner research is extremely important, and I actually want to quote Carl Jung for this instance. If you don't know who Carl Jung was, he was a psychologist and student of Freud, and he talked heavily about archetypes and the collective consciousness. And Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside just dreams, who looks inside awakens." So when you look inside yourself and you find your lineage, you awaken to your true potential and to your true self. And that for me was so important and so inspiring, not only to make this video, but to understand more about my manifestation capacities, why I'm drawn to certain things, why my life led me in a certain way. And it's very interesting because I see connection in everything, because I studied astrology for a while. I'm not too keen on astrology for predictions and things like that at all, actually, but I do like the branch of astrology that studies the birth chart for personality traits and talents, life purpose, as well as our astrocartography. So what geographical places are energetically better for you according to your chart. And it's funny because I have the north node of the moon, which is the point of destiny for astrologers, in England. And I don't think that that is a coincidence, and look how that is so related to my ancestral connection. It blows my mind how everything in life is so connected, and how manifestation is so connected with these esoteric and spiritual topics. They're not separate at all. That doesn't mean, of course, that you cannot manifest some other stuff that you want, or you are free to do whatever you want. But when it comes down to soul alignment, effortless manifestation, and just following that divine, higher life track, I think all these things are deeply connected. And the last top point for which I think that working with your ancestors and finding your ancestral lineage is extremely important for manifesting your higher life track or divine purpose is because of ancestor resilience. What does it even mean? By studying the history of your ancestors and realizing that they are connected to you either through the morphe field or through your genetics, whatever you prefer to choose or dive into in terms of scientific reasons why you're connected to them, by studying their history and again understand that your life, your entire existence is a byproduct of their love stories, their struggles and their battle, and and the fact that they survived and now you exist can make you really, it can motivate you when you want to give up on your manifestation, because you can say, hey, my ancestors back further, even back to 5,000 years ago, they have struggled with this type of weather or with this condition. They fought wars, they have survived, they entangled with other people and cultures in beautiful love stories, or maybe not so beautiful, but I am the byproduct of all of this resilience. So I shouldn't give up now on my manifestation, because imagine if they would have given up, I wouldn't be here. And I think this ancestral resilience, it's amazing. It can really motivate you, and it can make you understand better who you are, and not just that you're God of your reality, but we're so interconnected, and we as human beings, we have this extreme power of resilience that make us accomplish great things. So by connecting with the history of your ancestors, you really tap into your divine power, and you become a pioneer of your destiny, because you just don't simply give up. And think about, even like I was thinking about giving birth or labors or mothers, like the moment that you give birth, you are connecting with all the women that at the same time have given birth. And they are giving birth, they're doing that painful process, and they are creating new life. You are connected to that energy, and even you are connected to all the mothers before you that have generated life, and that can give you so much strength in that moment. I mean, the other day I was walking down the street and I saw this old lady that looked at my belly as I'm pregnant and smiled at me, and from her eyes I really understood that she was happy because life was generated again. And I could see from her eyes that she was remembering her own journey of giving birth and being a mother, and probably being a grandmother, and then moving on into probably, you know, the next life. You know, we are so interconnected, and understanding ancestor lineage can make you become more resilient when it comes down to manifesting your dreams and aspirations. All right, you guys, this video was super long. I hope I covered everything. This, and again, another bonus point is that ancestor worship and connection, it's always been done in many ancient cultures, and especially in esotericism, because the ancient one and ancient practices, they knew that by worshiping and blessing and giving honor to the ancestor, they would have gathered strength and blessings, and they would have resolved past trauma, and they would have healed. They all knew this, and I highly invite you to study more about it, especially if you're trying to manifest your higher life track or divine purpose. That's my story, that's my experience, that's what I think. Obviously, again, this video, it's not for saying that you cannot manifest whatever you want. You can. It's just a little parenthesis, and an entertaining, interesting parenthesis into a journey through history and your ancestors. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to know more about this, or if you want more videos about esoteric topic, history topics, philosophy, and so much more. I will gladly make them for you. And very soon I'm going to post another video about why detachment for manifestation is important, and why sometimes you're manifesting opposite manifestation. So don't worry, manifestation topics are always going to be there. If you like this video, thumbs up, share, and remember to subscribe if you're new to never lose a post or a video. I love you guys, and see you also on Patreon. Bye!